I had a happy childhood and always wanted to make my parents proud. After finishing university and starting my career, I began to feel pressure and loneliness, which led to my diagnosis of major depression in 2000. It wasn't until I started acting out of character and sending erratic emails that I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. I couldn't come to terms with my diagnosis. I believed that all my struggles were just a result of being unwell. I tried a new medication, but I was resistant to the idea of taking it. It felt like admitting that there was something wrong with me, and I found it hard to accept that I had bipolar disorder. I was able to finish my studies at Wharton, but soon after, I fell into a deep depression and lost all motivation. Even when I moved to New York and reunited with my future husband, it was a very tough time. There were days when I felt so low that I couldn't even get out of bed. After 6 years without treatment, in 2006, I experienced a major crisis. I believed that the world was ending and that I was the one who could save it. When my husband came home, he found our apartment in a state of chaos. I had torn it apart. My mania and psychosis had become so severe that he had to call 911. 3 police officers and 2 paramedics arrived at our apartment, and it felt more like a criminal arrest than a medical emergency. They strapped me into a wheelchair and took me away in an ambulance to the hospital. I ended up in the psychiatric emergency room. The doctor who admitted me opened the American Psychiatric Association Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, DSM, to the page on bipolar disorder. He asked me, "Are you experiencing any of these symptoms?" and pointed to the page. I said, "No, no, no." But he said, "Yes, yes, yes." For 2 days, I lay on a gurney in the psychiatric emergency room hallway because the hospital didn't have any open rooms. They heavily sedated me to bring me down from my severe manic episode. I woke up in leather restraints in a lockdown unit. It was disturbing. Before I was discharged, I had to arrange to meet with a psychiatrist for treatment. Within weeks of starting my medication, I felt that I was cured and no longer needed it. So I came off the medicine, got sick, and was hospitalized again. I was hospitalized 3 times in 2006, 2010, and 2014. A separate manic episode led to my arrest for breaking into a house of worship to pray, because I again thought the world was ending. In 2014, during my last hospitalization, I saw a video of a woman living with schizophrenia, and it changed everything for me. She was living a full life, running her own company, and she seemed truly happy. It gave me hope and motivated me to get involved with peer support. Meeting and speaking to others with mental illness was critical to my recovery. They understood what I was going through, and it made a huge difference. After being with 2 psychiatrists for 5 years each, I realized I needed to find the right medication and the right doctor. The medication I was on was causing me to sleep 14 hours a day and gain weight. It wasn't helping my condition at all. I found a new doctor who specialized in using medicine to treat mental disorders, and he took a completely different approach. He listened to my preferences and treated me to achieve my life goals. He changed my medication, and within days, I was sleeping less and losing weight. It allowed me to live a more meaningful life, and I've been stable since 2016. My spouse and family have also been incredibly important in my recovery. They've been there for me every step of the way and have played a critical role in my journey. When you're in the psychiatric unit, there are no get-well wishes or flowers. There's very little hope that you're going to get well. Once I started to get better, my mother began to send me cards once a week, and they really made me feel better. I wanted to do the same for other people. So, I started a program where twice a month, I visit the psychiatric units at 2 hospitals in New York. I get people to donate greeting cards to me, which I distribute to patients. Patients also decorate and leave their own messages on cards for other patients. During these visits, I talk to the patients and share my lived experience. That makes them perk up. They say, "Oh, you're one of us. You understand where we're at and how we're feeling." I also created an online peer support community for people living with mental illness, substance abuse, and stressful life events, called For Like Minds. We have over 10,000 members. It's a place for people to meet and share their experiences. Peer support was really important to me during my recovery. In addition, I recently created a coaching service called Peer Sites. I help people and families living with mental illness pursue recovery. The objective is to inspire hope, help them find the resources they need to get better, and improve communication among themselves and with doctors so they can better advocate for their own needs.